Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. Yeah, today is the session after the OPP exam. My first question is, how was your OPP exam and the difficulty level? Can you share your feedback?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
OPT exam goes very nice,
Okay.
and I face a little difficulty in solving questions regarding array type questions. Sir. I face a difficulty.
Array, so you feel that hard, or your voice is actually low?
No, it's not. Nothing is hard, sir. Actually, I haven't practiced.
Okay, that array-based question.
Nothing is hard, sir. But due to lack of practice.
Okay, okay. So you did all four question.
No, out of four questions, I did the three questions. And
Okay.
yesterday, sir, regarding actually what happened, previous week also, during the WTA, WTA, weekly time assessments, sir.
Acha, timed assignment. Okay.
Yes, at that time, Linux class will be there. That is Hemalata madam is taking classes. But unfortunately, her session was not recording. She hasn't permission for recording. Okay. Yesterday
Okay.
also the recording was not done. That's why I decided to attend her class because
Okay, okay.
that's why I
No, but
haven't attended.
yeah, but these our timed assignment schedule is already predefined. So you didn't ask uh, to ma'am to change the schedule for Linux.
No, no, sir. The schedule once ever done, it will be very difficult to change because I have felt with English class also because this time English 2 is also there
Okay.
because it's very difficult to change the classes. Uh,
Okay. So because of that, we are actually releasing this 3 days: Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday.
only sir, one help sir, if you just increase the timing, that will be very useful. The timing.
Okay. So today is the last day. Okay.
If you kindly increase so we will get sufficient time after the class over. So we will
Mhm.
sufficient get. That's only.
Okay, okay. Then today, actually, what we will do, we will close this at around 12. That is fine.
Okay. Yes, 12 or 1 p.m. whatever will sir, kindly tell us.
One will be too much late. Okay, so we will start at 8 and then we will close at 10, at 12 around. Correct?
Okay, sir, no problem.
Okay, so just complete it on the time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and others? So, what about the OPP? It was difficult or easy? And how many of you have done all four questions? Just raise the hand. Okay, acha. Okay, only one. Oh, Sonali also. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so which actually question you feel difficult? Can anyone share so we can also do something for that area?
Sir, array type question, sir. Array.
Array type questions. Yeah, so that is actually week 7, and we gave that question was not too much difficult, and we also explained the array question in our last week assignments. Okay, so we will discuss that also. Okay, so today actually so this week is basically for okay, peak 8 is now running, and week 7 deadline is also pending, I think. I think, let me check. So
Week 7 deadline is there, sir. Week
24,
7.
okay, 24, and week 8 is 28.
It's 31, sir. 31st of July.
Oh, I am seeing this grps of week 8 have this 28 July. 28, let me check for qualifier, one second. Yes, qualifier. Okay, let me share my screen.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so content of the week 8 has not been released of the C programming.
Oh, it is not released. Oh,
No, sir.
Sir, it is visible.
But the deadline of the other subject is 31 of July.
okay, okay. Yeah, this it is released for ES, the term students, but it is not available. Okay, okay, I'll check this with the ops team. Okay, I think there is some issue because it should be released. Yeah, big date. Okay, I checked this because it should be released on the last Friday. That I think they missed this because it is already released for the other term students. Week 8. Okay, I'll check this. So, 1 second. So we will release maybe today also. Okay, this B-Kit. This should be released on the last Friday. I don't know how this they actually followed this. So just watch the content after that. Okay. So regarding week 7, so any specific topic, any doubts? So array. Okay, I'll cover this array. Okay. And another topic. Have you done this string part? Hello. String part is okay. Any doubt in string part?
Sir, please explain little
That
bit
is string also.
all the
Okay.
topics. And listen.
Okay, okay, okay. So
For
B7, yeah. So B7 have this array and string basically. So I'll discuss both. Okay, and I'll also discuss the B8. Uh, then B8 is not released for qualifier, but yeah, we have to cover this. 1 second. So yeah, regarding the array things. Okay, so first we will understand the array concepts, and then we will discuss how we can use that. So regarding the array, there is a pen. This is not connected. Yeah, so now till week 6 we have done many things, like we have understand the control flow and everything, a function pointer we have also seen. So but we use the only single variable and we have stored some data and we perform some operations. Yeah, if anyone have raising the hand, please open the mic and ask. Okay, because I'm not seeing the.
Yes, sir. I have a doubt regarding the quiz 2 syllabus.
So there is no quiz 2 for C programming.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, there is no quiz 2 exam for C programming. You will now you will have OPP 2 exam, programming exam directly. Okay, and the syllabus will be till week 10 for the OPP 2 exam.
Sir,
Yes.
in the OPP exam, OPP 1,
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't copy paste from the same tab. Like if I have a function declared somewhere and I want to define it elsewhere in the same tab, I can't copy the declaration and paste for the
No,
definition.
you can't do using this Control C, Control V.
No.
But there is one option from the editor itself. So, like, let me open this. So this is the above tab. So here you can see.
Okay.
So you can select any part here and you can copy from this point, copy selection, and later you can paste from this tab.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so Control C, Control V actually not works because anyone can copy from the outside tab. So that is actually disabled at that time. Okay. Yeah. So now we have till now we have seen this single some specific value we are storing in the variables. Now what happened actually in some type of problems we need to store many data actually, many similar type of data. So at that time we cannot declare variables for each data. Like suppose we want to store 100 students marks. Okay, so we want to store marks for we have the class with 100 students, and we want to perform some analysis of the on the marks of 100 students. So we need to store this 100 marks in our data structure in our program. Okay, then we can analyze that. Suppose we want to figure out that what is the highest marks in this, what is the lowest marks in this, what is the average of these hundreds. So this type of many query can be asked if we have the this type of large data. So how we can store this data in our program, that memory, or then we can process that data efficiently. Okay, and so what is the process for that? One thing is, if you know that you have 100 data, that 100 students data, so you can declare the variable like s1 for student 1, s2, s3, all are the type of integer. And you know that suppose we want to store the marks in integer form. Okay, so integer type only. I'm just assuming that it may be some float in the normal in the real life, but I'm assuming that all marks are in the integer. So we want to store all these marks in some memory in our program. So all marks are integer, and what we can do, we can declare 100 variables like this. Okay, s1, s2, s3, s4 till s100. Okay, now then we can perform our operation, and we know that we have the marks stored in 100 variable as like this, and we can process that with the help of these variables. But this is not looking a good practice, and this is also not proper actually manageable, because suppose if we have this 100 data, we can manage, but what happens if we are getting more data like 1000? Then this is not practical. Okay, so we cannot declare 1000 variable in our program. Okay, so how we can manage this type of scenario, and we can store data and we can perform some operation on that. So that programming language provides some that structured data. Okay, so that actually store multiple data of the same type. Okay, so here we can store the same type of data. So this is the limitation of the array. Okay, in the C programming, but in Python, other programming language, we have another type of data structure like list that can contain different types of data also. Okay, but here we are talking about the C. So here we can store the multiple data of the same data type. Okay, and that data will be stored in the consecutive memory location in our memory. Okay, so what we will do here, C provides one data structure that is called as an array. So array, and we can define the size of this array at the time of declaration. So what is the way of declaration is, we can just tell the type, so int, and this is the type of the data structure, that what type of data we will store in this, and then name of the array. Okay, so that we are just giving, we can give some name, so like marks, I'm mentioning some name, marks. Okay, so this is the array name. After that, we can give some size. Okay, so we can assign any size for here, which is actually capable to store our data. So suppose we want to store the marks of 100 students, so we will define the size here 100. Okay, now this is the way we can declare this data structure array. And after that, what happened, it provides a memory, and that memory actually is the collection of 100 locations, and each location is the size of 4 byte. Okay, because our integer data type takes 4 byte in the memory. Okay, so now that means that our compiler will provide this memory, and each that location is contains 4 byte to store one integer value. Okay, and all these values are actually hundreds, that 100 memory locations, and these memory locations are actually consecutive. So consecutive means if the first element address is like 2000, okay, this is the address value. After adding 4 byte into this, you will get the address of second element. Okay, that means this one. And again, you if you add 4 byte more in this, so 2008, you will get the address of third element. Then same things you can repeatedly perform, and you can access all the elements in your memory. So 2000 like 12. So this is the address of fourth element. So all these memory are consecutive, and you can store all the data in this memory locations, and later you can access all the data with the help of this address. Okay, now this is the first thing. So this memory is consecutive, and that contain the similar type of data. Okay, if we have defined integer types, all blocks will be actually store the integer value in this. So now another thing is, there is one indexing concept here. So we no need to just remember this address actually. Okay, so we no need to remember this address things, and also no need to calculate this. This is calculated by internally, but it provides some indexing thing. So this array data structure provides some indexing, and with the help of this indexing, we can directly access any element. So what is this indexing? And in the convention, this is start with 0. So 0 for the first element, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, like this. And what is the size of 100? So last index will be 99. Okay, this is the size of 100. So last element index will be 99. So here each elements are identified by this index. Okay, so it is start from 0, and this is just a representation, and internally it calculates the address actually. Okay, so suppose we can access any element with the help of this indexing. Suppose we want to print the first element. So first elements, what we need to do, so we can just write print f, and we know that the type of element is integer, so %d, and after that we can just mention the name of array. So this marks, and inside the square bracket we will pass this index, so this 0. So now it will directly point to this first element address. So how it will calculate? Here first thing, this marks, what is this actually? This marks is actually a pointer. This marks is actually a pointer that contain the address of first element. Okay, this marks label actually contain the address of first element. Now when we are writing this marks in the square bracket 0, so internally it calculate the address with the help of this indexing. So what is this? So the base address. So base address which is pointing to this marks, and plus what is the index. Okay, so what is the index which we are using? So suppose this is I, so we will use I, and into size of the each element. So size of element. Okay, so what size we have mentioned here? Integer. So actually when we are writing this marks, yeah, please ask, open the mic and ask.
Sir, is array is like a list in Python?
Yeah, there are some another things is also there, because array is fixed. We cannot increase the size or decrease the size. Dynamic, you can append any number of elements in the list, but array you can't do. This is fixed.
Okay.
But yeah, accessing the elements and the just representation is very similar.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so here this mark, when we are writing this marks 0, so it calculates the address of element by like this formula. So base address means what is the address of first element, and after that you are multiplying this index with size of each element. So suppose if you are passing index 5, okay, so 5, so that means base address is 2000, and plus I index is 5, and size of each element is 4. So you will get this address 2020, 20, and which is for actually the sixth element. Okay, so index is 5 because we are starting from 0. So the elements in the position is 6. So we will directly, so you will directly access internally. It will calculate the address, and directly you will directly jump to this position in the memory, and you will get the data. Okay, so we use no need to calculate all these things and what is the address, all these things, but just remember this mark, the name of the array is actually a pointer which contains the address of first element, and this indexing is represented it is started from 0. 0 means first element of the array, and it goes till the size of the array minus 1. Okay, so this is the indexing, and we can access all the position, all the memory locations with the help of this indexing. And after that, you can simply store the data like this. You can simply write marks of 2 equal to 10. If
Sir,
you write
here
this,
marks, sir, here marks has also an address, sir, or only mark 0 has an address, sir.
sorry, your voice, some noise was.
Sir, here marks 0, marks 1, each has individual address. And is there any address, separate address for marks, sir? Marks?
Yeah, marks is also a pointer that also contain the address of first element. Okay, but if you are writing this marks and 0, so what is happening? 2000 that plus 0 into 4, so you will get the same address. Okay, so this 2000 value is actually stored at this marks with the name of this marks, so this is a pointer. But if you are passing 0 index, so 0 is also referring to the first element.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And with the help of this indexing, you can assign the elements, you can store the element, and you can access the elements. Okay, so with the if you want to store the some element at position 2, so you can just write like this. Okay, so marks array name and the square bracket and indexing equal to value. So this value will be stored at this locations at index 2. And same things, you can use this indexing to print the element, display the element, and you can traverse all the elements. So here what happening, actually we have the 100 locations to store the data, 100 data, but we are using only one name for this data structure. This is marks, so no need to remember 100 variable names like here. But here at the 100 different variable names, we are using one name but 100 that index. Okay, and this index is actually sequential, no just a random things. So this is a sequential thing, 0 to 99, and you can traverse all the element with the help of this indexing. So like how you can read the data, store the data, how you, and then how you can print the data. So that is actually you can use with the help of this indexing. And another thing is how we can assign the elements of the array. At the there are two ways: at the compile time and at the runtime. So what is the compile time initialization and what is the runtime initialization? So at the compile time initialization, when you are declaring the array, so like suppose if you are declaring some array int a, and this is a 5. Okay, so you are assigning 5 size. At the same time, you can assign the values also. Okay, like using this the curly brackets, you can write like this. So 10, 20, 30, and 40 and 50, like this. Okay, so by and this will this array will initialize with these elements when this program will run. So this is called as a compile time initialization. So that means we have assigned the value in the code, and when the program will compile, same times we will declare this array. We are declaring this array, so memory will be initialized. At the same time, value will also store. Okay. Another is type of to store the data is runtime. So runtime means when our program is running, at that time we will give some data, and that data will store into the array location. So that we can do with the help of for loop. So what you can do, you can just, if you know the size of array is 5, so you can run a loop. So int like this, int I equal to 0, because you know the index of the first element is 0. Okay, so this we will use this I variable for the indexing, and we are starting this index with 0. Then I is less than equal to 5, because the size of this array is 5. Then I plus plus. So we will start with 0 index, and then we will read data for the each index. So what we will do is scanf, and here %LD, and we will write like this. So A and I. Okay, so you can read the data in this way, and so here this loop will run, and every time it will ask one value, and that value will be stored at this index. So initially this is I equal to 0, so that A 0 location data will be stored. passing the 10 value at the first time. When this loop is running, it will stop at the first time. And you will suppose if you pass the 10 value, that value will be stored at the index 0. Then I will be increased now, so I will become 1. Then next value will be stored at 1 index. Then I become 2. Then next value will be stored at this, like, okay. So in this way, you can read the data at the runtime, and you can store the data. So this is a that runtime memory allocation. So not memory allocation, we are initializing the value at the runtime. Okay, previous was the example of the initializing the data at compile time. So this is some basics of the array. Some you can explore some things like what happened if you declare the size like a that 5, and but you pass only 2 values, so 10 and then 20 and only 2. Then what will happen? So what will be the remaining value, and it is accepted or not? This type of operation. So this type of things you can explore. Okay, when you are writing the code, do some experiment, this type of experiment, and you will learn by this type of experiment. Okay, and do the things. And when you are assigning some value in this way, you are not assigning any value. So what is the value on the remaining location? Suppose if you are printing the value of that A3 now, because you have not initialized any value, so what value you will get at this A3 location? Yeah, definitely A0 you will get 10. Okay, so this will be stored at 0 location. This will be stored at 1 location, 1 index. Then you will get the A0 correct, A1 correct. Then what will be the value of A2, A3? Okay, so that you can test. And another thing is, if you are not initializing anything, okay, so you just declare this int a like 5 and just close. Okay, so this is the declaration. At this time, if you are printing the value of A0, then what you are getting, value you will get. Okay, so A1, what value you will get? Just explore these things. Okay, so are you getting some specific fixed value, or you are getting some random value? Okay, so this type of that experiment you can do with the code. So when you are running any type of specific data structure or anything, so you can experiment with this. So this is the basic about the operation with the help of indexing. So now you know that this indexing is giving. So suppose I am giving the example of that 5 elements. So suppose you have the element A5, and in the array I am writing like this: 10, 3, 5, 4, 2, and this is the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can just imagine. So this is the indexing, and now you want to find out the maximum element among all these 5 elements. So you can do the process. Now you have the way to access all the elements. Just you use the A0 is now pointing to the first element, A1 will point to the second element, like this. So you can just compare all the elements and figure out the maximum element. So you can just, so to find out the maximum element, you need to traverse all the elements. Then you can just figure out that which is the maximum element. So what you can do, you can just take variable like max equal to A0. Okay, just assuming that the first element is the maximum element or minimum element. After that, just run a loop. So for int I equal to, because we have mentioned the first element is the max element, you can start with first index. Okay, so 0 is now assigned. Now I is less than equal to 5 and I plus plus, and after that simply compare the element. Okay,
Yes, 4 na sir, less than equal to 4 na.
Yeah, correct, 4. So here if we simply compare the element each time, so just compare if that current element. Okay, so what is the current index of I? So ai is greater than max. If you're getting this condition true, then just assign a new max equal to ai, like this. Okay, just do this process, you will get a maximum value in this max variable after completion of this loop, and just print that. Yeah, please ask, open your mic and ask.
Sir, so first index is 0. Then if first I equal to 1, then how the 0th index will be accessed?
No, actually we are assuming that the first element is the maximum element. So we have assigned this value to max.
Okay.
Okay, so we are assuming that this is a max, and
Okay.
after that we are comparing each element by the previous max. And if
Okay.
we are getting the greater value, then we are updating our max.
Okay.
So in this way, we are starting from the first element. So
Okay.
we are comparing 3 is greater than 10. No. So if this condition is not true, we are not doing anything. Okay, else part is not there. Then
Okay.
we will compare 5 is greater than max. So max is assigned to 10. No. 4 is greater than max. No. 2 is greater than max. No. So
Okay.
later, after completion of this loop, you will get the same max equal to 10
Okay.
in the final. You will print. Same you can do with the minimum. So you can assume that the first value is the minimum. So min equal to that first value is 0. Okay. Do the same process. If you are finding out the smaller value, then just update your min.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so 3 is minimum. 3 is smaller than this 10. Yes. So now this will become min. Now 5 is smaller than this. No. 4 is smaller than this. No. 2 is smaller than this. Yes. So now this will be update min equal to this. Now your loop is complete. So you will get final equal to min equal to 2. Okay, in this way you can traverse all the data. You can compare, do the comparison things. You can do the calculation, like you want to figure out the average of the data. Just so what is the required things for the average? You need to add all these 5 elements and divide it by the size of that array. Okay, so to adding the elements, you need to traverse this. So just run a loop, and from first index to last index, just take some variable like sum initially equal to 0, and add all these elements into this. Okay, so every time just write in this place. So this will start from 0. So write like sum equal to sum plus ai. Okay, so every time you will get an index in this. So 0. So a0 will be added into this sum, and next iteration this will become a1. So that a1 will add in this, and finally you will get the sum of all elements. And after completion of this loop, just perform the division operation. So that sum divided by 5. So you will get the average. So in this way, logic, now you know the way to access the data. Okay, how you can traverse all the data with the help of indexing. Now you know this, you can do your calculation and logic with the help of this feature of this structure. Okay, so now the remaining things is depends on the logic. So if any problem is given on the array, now you have to figure out that how you can perform the logic to solve that problem with the help of this indexing and traversing this way. Okay, so and same thing, very common problem is sorting the array. So some logic are there. There are many algorithms are there for sorting, but this is very foundation course, so you can use the very basic algorithm. And we have discussed this sorting steps in our previous week's lab sessions. Okay, so you can just try to sort all the elements on the same array. So what you can do, you can just compare each element and swap the position, and in this way you can just sort all the elements. So that means the smallest element should come at the first place, then next secondary smallest, then third smallest, like this. So elements should be arranged in this manner. So this type of operation, you need to figure out that what logic is required. Now you know that how to access the data from this data structure. Okay, how you can traverse the data. Now this feature is providing by the language. Now use this feature and apply your logic. So you will get a that solution. So this is about the array. So some related things, let's check.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, in the OPP exam, I mean OPP 1, if I get some test cases, private test cases failed, can I get like part marks?
Yeah, partial marks is there for that private test case. Okay, suppose if 5 private test cases are there, so that means if your 2 test cases are correct in the private test case, so that means out of 100 you will get 40 marks.
Okay.
Okay, so partial marking is there for private test case. Not, there is no marks for public test case.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, in OPP one question, sir, all the public tests have been passed. That is three out of 3. But in case of private test cases, sir, I got only, every time I got only 4 out of 5, sir. Is there any problem, sir, regarding that?
No, there is no problem with the question. Actually, what happens, so sometimes there are some corner type of things okay. So I'm giving some example. So what happened? Maybe when you are writing your logic, actually, you are just only focusing the input type which is given in the public test case. Okay. So you need to focus on the problem statement and figure out that what type of input possible for the problems. And suppose I'm asking to you to write a logic to check number n equal to is it prime or not. Okay. Suppose if n number is given here, and you are checking this n is a prime or not, and you have written a logic, and inside the logic, and you are just assuming that like, and you have written the logic like you are getting n in the input, and after that you are running a loop from like 2 to n. Okay, so not n, so n minus 1, and you are just checking this number is divided by 2 by any number of this. Okay, so you have written some logic like this. You are just checking this n is divisible by 2, then n is divisible by 3, then n is divisible by 4, till n is divisible by n minus 1. So you are writing the logic. So this is the logic actually. If your number is divisible by any of these number, then number that n is not prime. Okay. So what happened? You mention this logic, and you forget to handle the type if you are getting n equal to minus 1. Okay, so what you need to return? So n equal to 0, then n equal to that negative value at 0, and you have written the logic to handle the value which are actually greater than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what happened? Your code is working for all positive value which is greater than 2. That your code is correctly checking for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or positive value, but you miss this handle to what should be written for less than 2. You miss this condition to just when you are writing the logic. And some private test case are actually checks this type of situation. So you maybe many of the test case will be coming from this range. Maybe some of the test cases are coming from this side, which you have actually missed. So you will get one test case failed like this. Okay, so that means for the given problem and some corner input case, you actually have not focused that what type of possible input actually for the problem, and you have written your logic for some specific type of input, not the all type of inputs.
Sir, how the partial marking is distributed? Like in the last question, we had 40 numbers, 40 marks. So if I correct 2 test cases, I mean, if I pass
No,
2
last
test
question was for 30 marks. Not there was no question for 40 marks.
Okay, so how much will I get for 2 test
So
cases?
that if there are 5 test case, suppose, okay, in the
Yes.
private test case, and your 2 is correct, so
Yes.
that means you got 40% marks for
Okay.
that. So 40% for this 30.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, each test case have the 20% weightage if total are 5 test case.
Okay.
Yeah, so you will get the partial mark. So when you are writing the logic for to solve any problem, first thing is just read the problem statement carefully. Okay, do not miss any line, do not skip anything. Read the problem statement carefully and just think about that. What are the possible input for according to the problem? And when you are writing the logic, just try to cover all type of input.
And sir, here you talked about prime number. So what if I get minus 23? So what will I do then?
So actually all negative numbers are actually not comes in this the prime category. No, so you will
Like
return
minus
not
23 is
prime.
a negative prime number, no?
No, we check the prime number things only for the positives. So return all for not prime for the all number which are coming below this two. So when it is
Okay, sir.
mentioned that this minus 23 is a prime number.
I mean, it's a negative prime number.
No. This is not a proper definition.
Like the modulus value, the absolute value of minus 23 is 23. So it's a
No,
prime number.
so no, just check this thing. So minus 23 is prime or not. So you can see that n is the, if exactly two numbers do so n is the prime, otherwise not prime, so it is not given. But your negative numbers are actually not prime. Okay, so if you just look the definition, so we checks for the only for the positive numbers which are coming, and one is also not comes under the prime. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I give this example as just like as an example. So some corner case, if you missed, then you will get this type of situation, 4 out of 5 test case pass like this. So that means your logic is not fulfilling all the cases, input types of cases. Okay, so yeah, this is array. So that I have discussed this array in C. So this is about the syntax. Yeah, passing array to the function. So this is also one required thing. So how we can pass the array to the function. Okay. Okay. So I'm writing one function, and I'll give the example to pass the function for that array. Okay, to the function. So I'm assigning some array. So like a int a of size 5 and equal to, and I'm assigning the value also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Sir, one more thing.
Hmm.
When will we get the OPP1 exam questions, like in our dashboard?
No, questions will not be released now. You will get only score.
But if I want to practice in the like for next OPP,
So questions are very similar to your that assignments or nothing. So these questions actually not released. These OPP exam questions are not released.
Sir, WTA questions will not be released, na? WTA.
WTA will be released after when the all timed assignment will complete. Okay. So when we have total 6 WTA, when the 6 WTA will be completed, then all will be published. Okay, so I'm writing this function. So we have one array in the main function. Okay, so this is main function I'm writing here, and we want to find out the sum of these array elements. So we will do this things by the function, different function. Okay, so we will define the function and we will return the sum of the number. So that means return elements, return type should be the integer value because our array is integer. So int, this is the return type of the function, and this function name I am defining the add, and here we need to take the input, and inside this we will return some output. Okay, so return something as a result. So res. Giving the name as a result, res. So now what we need to do, we need to pass this array to this function. Okay, so let's write this. So let's declare the result here. So int are equal to, and I'm calling this function here, and here we will print the result. So printf and %d, and then I'll print this r value. Okay, so that means we have this array, total 5 elements. We pass this array to the function, and function will return the sum of the elements of this array. Okay, so that we will receive in this element, that variable integer r, and we will print this r. So the sum should be print. Okay, so what we will do, so how we can just pass that array. So here you can do one thing, you can just pass the array like this. So you can just pass array name. Okay, and same you have to define here in the function definition. So you have to define that what type of data you are receiving. Okay, so that means you have to define some array structure that, okay, here. So like here, so like you can define, so you will receive the integer type of array. So that means you can give any name. So like here you can give the name ARR, but you have to define this by this way. And also we pass the size of the array, because we don't know what size we are receiving in this function. So we will write some logic and we will just figure out that what is the size. So we will pass the size also. So let's take some size here, and we know that this size is, we have 5 element in this. Okay, so we are passing this 2 value. Now we will receive this value also in our function. So this is integer value, so take int n. Okay, now we have 2 value, we are receiving this. So this is the way to declare the array inside the another function, what type of data we are receiving. And then we will use this. So that means when we are passing a, so this a, actually this array pointer will be copied to this ARR. Okay, so that means this now ARR actually will be will contain the same elements, and we can perform the operation on that. So what we can do, we can just traverse the array. So we will run a loop. So for int and I equal to 0 and I is less than equal to n. Okay, so this is not equal to, this is less than. Okay, so because n is the size of the array, so indexing is less than n. So now yes.
Sir, here the array name, whatever may be, sir, call function. No, this is a add is a call function, no, sir.
Add is a function.
Okay,
Yeah.
it is calling. Sir, here while declaring the arguments, arguments, no, sir. Here like an arguments.
Yes.
It is always to be changed, na? Like in the main function, it is a, but in
No, you
the
you can also give the same name, but
no
that,
problem, no?
yeah, no problem. But that will be the different variable actually, because here variables are created inside the stack memory. So here, if you have created separate function, so all the variable which is declared for this function actually local for this function. These are not global. Okay, so this means if you are writing here a only, so that a is actually a, you can access only through this function. This a is not actually same like this a. Okay, both
Yes.
are actually pointing to the different object or different memory. So variable that are actually refers to the different stack. So that I am writing this ARR, and now I'll just take for some variable. So this int res equal, okay, so I'm writing something. So what are the common mistake? I'm just writing one code and we'll see that what we will get. So we will write this res equal to res plus that ARR of I. Okay.
Sir, instead of giving int n, we can directly give 5 because we already know the number of elements.
So for this type, actually, when we write any function, so we just make that function as a standard function, so we can pass any type of data. Okay, so because of that, we not mention any size here, and we not mention some specific value here. Otherwise, your code will work as for some specific input. But what we can do after writing this standard general definition, we can pass any size from here, and we can pass different size array. That still that will work.
Okay.
If you fix the size, suppose if we change the size later, then that will remain fixed. That fixed 5.
So, but you told that you can't change the size of array, like list.
No. I'm saying that if I give the different inputs.
Okay.
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 So suppose this array is, I have declared this array as the compile times at the coding. But what happened in the normal questions? So that suppose we are reading the input from the user, that what is the size of in that array. So we will receive like 10, and then we are declaring, we are assigning 10 elements into the array. Then we are passing that array here. So that means both input we will pass through the variable, not the fixed value. So this is passing a, and same things size we will also pass through the variable, and we can change the value for the variables. Same times our function definition should handle the input actually of the any size. If we fix this, like if we fix here 5, so that will be specific for the 5 size. that will not work for 6 or 10 like this. Okay.
Okay.
So here I have written this code. So you can see I have just declared this res, and then I have run a loop of this. So this 5 value we are passing here. So that 5 value will be placed here and for the n. Now we are using this energy indexing. So now we are storing the result and returning the result.
Sir,
And-
here res is not initialized, sir. No problem.
Yeah. So no, there is a problem actually. So let's run this, and I've also declared the return 0 here. Okay, so let's run and see what output we are getting. So you can see we are getting some value. This is not too much relevant because our sum should become 1 plus 2 3 plus 3 6 plus 4 10 and plus 5 15. But here we are getting this big value. So where from this is coming? So if we have not initialized any, suppose same things, if we have not initializing value, so what happening, some garbage value or some random value is actually available at that location. So that is we don't know where from that value is coming. Maybe some other process is running in the computer and some data is actually stored at that memory location, and we are now using that memory locations. So some data is previously stored and we are using that memory location. So some random value, garbage value is already stored at that memory location, and we are adding our value in that value, that random value. So we are getting the incorrect output. So because of that, we generally, when we are doing this type of process, we initialize some that base value. So that means we will initialize this by 0. So now 0 is stored at res. Our other value will be adding into this initial value 0. So now this value will be updated 15. Okay. Same for this array. So let's not initialize this and see what output we are getting. Okay. So let's run this. You can see again what we are getting, some random value. Because now we have not initialized our elements into the array, and we are performing addition operation for 5 elements. So some random value are actually coming from the memory, and that are actually adding. Okay, so this is one thing. And another things, if we initialize one value in this array, okay, so what we will get? So like 1 or 2 value. Okay, now we have total 5 location, size is 5. We have initialized only 2 values, so 1 and 2, and then we are calling this function. So what will be the behavior? So now you can see we are getting the correct output 1 and 2 3. So this is a that things actually that compiler handles when we are we have declared some things size for the array 5, and if we initialize any single value in the array, so remaining memory locations actually initialize with 0. By default, this that remaining other memory locations will be initialized by 0. If we are not initializing any value, then the all place will be initialized by some random value. So just keep this thing in your mind. So now if you print A3, A4 like this locations, you will get a 0. Because we have initialized one element for this location, and remaining value will be initialized 0. Otherwise, if you are not initializing anything, so you will get a random value. So yes.
Sir, how the previous garbage value came, sir?
Because we have not initialized any value. So this, if I remove this, now you will get a random value. You can see. Okay.
If we initialize any single value, then remaining value will be taken as 0.
0, yeah. That will automatically initialize by 0, all remaining value. Okay, but if we are not initializing any single value, that you will get a random things. Okay, so yeah, this is the way to call the function, pass the array. So you can pass the array by the name. Okay, so just you can pass, and so you can also do the things. You can also access this array with the help of pointer. Okay, so you can pass the address, and you can just take a pointer here. So suppose if I'm taking here that asterisk. Yeah. Okay. So now I have written this strict ptr, and here I am passing this array a, and this is okay, fine. So now what we will do, I'll access the element from this pointer. So how we can do this? So instead of this here, so I'll write this asterisk ptr, and because we want to access all the elements, so we will perform the arithmetic operation on the pointer. So that means plus I. So this is a pointer now, and this is reference, dereferencing. So let's declare some value here. Something is wrong.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, if there are only two elements in array, and if you are giving a statement like printf of array of third index, so it will give an error.
You are saying that your size is 2.
No, size is 5. Size is more, but size is, for example, size is 5, but I am giving only.
No,
two
then you will get a 0 value at that location.
Okay. Okay.
No, here what happen if you have assigned only 2 value and remaining is empty. So by default that value will be initialized by 0. If you are initializing the value in this way, so all remaining value will be initialized by 0. And yeah, there is one more thing. You suppose size is 5 and you are accessing the position 6 and 7 index. So actually you will not get an error actually. But this is some security related issue. You are accessing the memory which is not allocated to the program. Okay, so maybe sometimes you will get some error, maybe your system crash or something like this.
Okay.
Because if so this is a continuous memory locations. So if you are accessing the next element which is not allocated to you, so maybe if that location is free, okay, and not allocated to the another program, so you will get a access. Okay, you will get a data at that location, and your program will not stop you, and okay, and you will not get any error. But sometimes if that is actually that next location is used by another program, okay, and you are trying to access that, okay, then you will not get a permission for that and you will get some error. Okay, so this is the things. So yeah, so your connection server has been lost. So check this by the second. So this thing is also important when you are dealing with the array. So just make sure that your index is running in the range. Okay, your index is running in the proper range which is actually allocated and where your elements are stored. Only use that index. Do not just use some random indexing, and just do not go out of the index which is not allocated to you. Okay. So your next thing is the pointer arithmetic. So let's explain here. So when our compiler will work, I'll explain that. So this is the function we have passed. Now pointer arithmetic. Actually, I'm just trying to show you. So you can also do the things. So here, pointer arithmetic means what are the arithmetic operation we can do with the pointer. Okay. So pointer we have already done in week 6. What is the pointer? Pointer is just a variable that contains the address of another variable. Okay, address. So this pointer actually contains the address of another variables. Then what type of arithmetic operation we can do with the pointer? Okay, and what it will behave here actually. So these are some common operation: increment and decrement operation we can do with the pointer. So suppose if you have one pointer variable and that contains some address, so you can use this increment and decrement operation. Okay, so what will be the value? So how we can use this with the arrays? Okay, so here you can see there is one array declared. Okay, so array declared, and we have assigned 5 elements. So this is also a correct representation. If we are not assigning any size here, and we are initializing the element, so by default this 5 size will be allocated to this array. Okay, so based on the elements size, you will this array size will be defined. Okay. So at the time of compile time declaration, that initialization, you can no need to write this size in the array. So by default, it will be read through the size of the elements. So you can see we have assigned one array. After that, we have taken one pointer, integer pointer, and in this pointer we have written this ARR only. Okay. So this, why we have directly written this ARR? Because I have mentioned that this array name actually is a pointer of the first value in the array. Okay, first data. So this is itself a pointer. So no need to write this AND symbol with this before this ARR. Okay. Otherwise, you have seen that in the previous week. So if we are declaring some pointers like int asterisk ptr, and we have another variable like a equal to 10. Okay, this is int. Then if we want to store the address of this a, so we generally write this AND a. Okay, so this AND operator is actually retrieve the address of this a variable that will be stored into this ptr. But here we can directly write ARR, because this ARR actually itself a pointer that contains the address. So that address will be assigned to ptr. So now after that, now this ARR is referring to the address of first element. When we are performing this ptr plus plus, so that means you are moving. So this is increment operation. So what is the meaning of increment? So in the previous weeks, we have seen that if we have a equal to 10 integer and we are writing a plus plus, so what value we are getting next? A equal to 10. And what is the meaning of this a plus plus? A equal to a plus 1, correct? So we are incrementing this value by 1. But in the case of pointer, this meaning of this is here. So ptr equal to ptr plus 1. But this one value here, this is a address and this is a integer value. Okay, this ptr contains the address, not a integer value. Actually, this is a address, and this one is actually a integer value. So integer takes 4 byte. That 4 byte will be added into this address, not 1. Okay, so if you have some address like this 10804 something, and you are writing this address plus 1 like this. So ptr contains this address and you are adding by 1. So here 1 will not be added into this value because the type is different. Okay. So here 4 byte. So this integer, what is the size of this integer? That size will be added into this address. Okay. So that means next location. So this ptr is pointing first to the first element. After, when we are incrementing like this, so that means we will add 4 byte into this, and our pointer will move to the next element location.
Fifth element, sir.
Sorry.
I think by adding 1, it will point to the fifth element, no?
No. Here each element size is 4 byte. Okay, so if first address is here, after adding 4 byte, you will reach at the second element.
The second element, but the address location will be different.
Yeah, address location may be so suppose here this address of first is 1000, and the address of the next element will be 1000 plus 4. So like this 1004, and this is referring to the second element. We are talking about the address, not indexing. Okay, so this is not referring to indexing here. Now we are just traversing the element with the help of address of the memory. So let me check that it is opened or not. So why this gave the error? Okay, star int res equal to 0. Let's run again. Yeah, it is working now. Okay, so the elements are not initialized. Let's initialize the elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see. So here actually this time we are not receiving the data into the array. Okay, now we have taken pointer asterisk ptr, and ptr, inside this ptr we are receiving the a value of a. So this value of a is actually address of the first element. So that address is stored now into the ptr, and inside the loop you can see we are using the same I equal to 0. This is an integer, and we are adding this I value into our pointer. So what will happen when we are getting I equal to 0? So this means, so we will get the address. So 0 means nothing. Okay, so there is nothing element will be added into this. And whenever I equal to become 1, so 1 into 4. Okay, so PTR is the base address, then I is equal to 1 into size of that. So that size is equal to 4. So that will be added into this. And this is the way to dereference things. Okay, so this is the way to dereference the memory location. So dereference means we are reading the value at that address. So here this is a address, actually PTR plus I is referring to the address, but to read the value at that address we need to write like this. Okay, asterisk and inside the bracket this expression. Okay, so that means we are reading the value at the location, and in this way we will traverse all the memory locations. So the base value PTR plus 0, that is the base value, then PTR plus 1 is referring to the next second element, and PTR plus 2 will refer to the third element. In this way you will read the all value of the memory locations, and all will be added into this final sum. Okay, so this type of arithmetic operation you can do with the pointer. So here we are adding this integer value, but by default the size is also adding to this. So what is the value of I into size of that integer? That will be added into the main call. So this is increment decrement we can do with this pointer, and we can use this feature with the array to traverse all the element. Okay, so with the help of pointer. So addition and subtraction, so that is also one thing. So same things, we can add any value. So like PTR plus n. So this is the simple one increment doing it. Same things we can do with plus n minus n. So this behaves like the same. So n is 5, so that means 5 into, if this n is integer, so that means 4. 5 into 4 will be added into this address PTR. Okay, if we are using the character pointer and we are adding the character, so that means if we are adding 2, so 2 byte will be added into this at that time. Okay, if we are performing this operation with character pointers, because that character takes 1 byte. So if you are adding 2, so 2 bytes will be added into this. So in this way we can do this addition, subtraction. Array indexing using pointer, yeah, so that we have already discussed. So we can read the value with the help of pointer, so is equivalent to this. If we are writing in the array, so PTR I, and this is same to this PTR plus I. And we can also use the indexing with this pointer if we have the array type of pointer. So let's explain this also.
Sir, please explain the last syntax, sir.
Which last in document?
Yes, yes.
This third point.
PTR I equal to pointer PTR plus I. This one. Yes, yes, this one.
This one. Okay, yeah, that I am explaining. So here actually, because this pointer is storing the address of array, so we can also use the indexing for this. So let's check this. So PTR and I. So same things. It will work like as a array now. Here we get the. Okay. So this is a pointer, but it is storing the reference of array. Okay, address of array. So you can also use this indexing. That means similar to your array. So you can directly use the address. Otherwise, you can calculate the next address with the help of that arithmetic operation. Okay, so both are actually equivalent. What was the previous expression? So that this one is equivalent to the PTR bracket size. So as I mentioned in the initial things, so that is actually calculated internally when we are writing in array name and indexing. So by default, this happens actually. This operation internally performed. Okay, so point with the pointer. Yeah, so this is the one operation, and another is pointer difference. So we can perform this difference operation. So subtracting two pointers of number of elements between them. Yeah, so this actually will return the positions difference actually. Okay, so suppose this asterisk PTR1 is pointing to the address of first element. Second pointer is pointing to the address of third element. Now, if we are performing ptr2 minus ptr1, so it will return a that difference of the index. Actually, what is the element difference there? So this is actually the first element, this is the fourth element. Okay, so 4 minus 1 total, how many elements are there in between? So what is the difference between these positions? So that is actually 3. So 4 minus that one, 3. Okay, so that will happen because it will perform return the data into the integer form. That means how many elements difference in between these two address. So you will get this pointer comparison. You can also do, so you can compare the pointer and which pointers comes before that, so you will get this type of comparison. Okay, so ptr1 you have same things, you have two address, so ptr1 comes before ptr2, so that you can check with the comparison with the pointer. Okay, so ptr1 is less than ptr2, that means ptr1 comes before ptr2 in memory, so that will be checked and it will return as 2. So that type of comparison you can do. So these are some common arithmetic operation you can do with the pointer, and these are actually helpful in the array also. So you can also access the elements with the help of pointer. Okay, so now this is about the array and pointer arithmetic. Now moves to the strings part. Introduction to string in C. So now in the array, actually we use this array data structure to store the that string. So there is no specific type for strings in the C language. Okay, so that we have in the that another language we have some types for string, but here we don't have any specific type for strings. We have only char. Okay, that contains the specific single character, but we can store the collection of characters into the array. Okay, so that becomes like is a string. So that means you know that we have the data type char that contains single character, and now we want to store a 10 characters. So that what's the meaning of a string is the collection of characters. So we can store these set of characters into the array. Okay, so where what we can do, we can just create an array like this. Okay, char and array name is a and like 10. So that means you can store a strings with 10 characters. Okay, and where each character can be accessed through the indexing. So this is also an array where the type of each element is a single character, char. So overall will become as a string. Okay, so you will get it 10 place, and indexing will remain same 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 9, and each location actually allocated for one character. So suppose if you want to store hello, so you can write like HELLO. Okay, so that means this is 5 characters, and you are storing each character at one location of the array. So you can deal with the strings with the help of this array in the C. So now creating and initialize the array, so same things you can. So sequence of characters stored in the continuous memory location, that is called as a string. Things C are represented as a array terminated. Yeah, so this is also one important point. So string in C are represented as array of character terminated by a null character. So what is the identification of the terminate point for the string? When we are storing any strings in our array, so what is the termination point? So that is actually identified by this null character. So that is represented by /0. So if we are assigning any strings to our array, so by default after the last character, so this one more character is actually stored at the last location. Okay, so that actually you can identify that this is the last point of the string. Okay, so see,
sir, so if
yes.
we have declared that it will be 10 characters, so including null, so the total number total it will be 11.
Yes, so that means one more will be added into the array. Otherwise, you can specifically add this character at some place. Suppose if you have declared, so in general we declare the more size. Okay, because if we are storing some fixed character length, then we store the more size. So like if we are storing A20, then what we can do, we can after HELLO if you want to store this characters, and then we can use this /n. Okay, so this /n 0 character at this position. So when you will just read this string, so that compiler will identify that this is the termination point. Suppose if you want to store hello world here, so WORLD in the remaining locations, still your compiler will read till at this point. So once the compiler will find out this terminate point, compiler will stop that and will not read the remaining value. So this is just an identification to the compiler that this is the termination point for the strings. Okay, so you can specifically you can mention this character as a terminate point. Otherwise, by default, this is included if you are assigning any string. So we will take some example and you will understand that how this happens. So using character array, you can see here we are not assigning. So what is the way to assign the strings? Okay, so here you can see we are writing this char str and then empty bracket. Okay, so this is an array. str1 is an array. Now we have assigned this value directly. So using character array. So this is the one method with the help of to store the array. So by default, this all characters will be stored at the location. So like this h will come at the 0 index, so 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3, 4, and then comma will come at the 5, then space will come 6. All will be allocated one by one in the array. And after this position, this not symbol, and the next character will be added by default as a terminate condition. Okay, so
Sir,
that size will be allocated.
Sir, but we did not give the size of the.
So at the time of this compile time things, that when we are same things, this is the same things for the previous array. So if we are assigning the array, like we are writing like int a, so when we can do this thing, so by default we are passing 1, 2, 3, 4. So compiler will see that these values are assigned to this. So by default, compiler will allocate the size 4 by the length of this. Okay.
So it is not compulsory to give the
if
size.
you are assigning the value, then no need to just mention the size. By default, compiler will check that length, how many elements are storing, that it will allocate it. Okay, same thing is happening here. So you are assigning the value at the same time. So compiler will check the length of this and plus one size for this terminate point. Okay, that size will be allocated for this str1.
Okay.
Size is fixed, but this size is assigned at the compile time by the given value, based on the given value. So what value we are assigning, that what is the length of this plus terminate point size, that size will be assigned. Okay, or you can mention this size, like you can mention some big size, 100 you can also mention, and just store this. So all are actually acceptable. So this is the one way to store the data, and this is the another way, using pointer to a character array. So this is the similar things. Okay, so what we are doing, we are just assigning char pointer. So this is a pointer of type char, and by default, so it will also create an array. Okay, so consecutive memory location, and this all will be stored at this h e. So same things, this str, we are creating an array, so this array name is also a pointer. Now we are mentioning this as a pointer. So by default, array will create, all value will be stored, and this str2 will point to the first element. Okay, but this is not an exact array because we have not declared this, but it will work like as an array. So you will perform same things. You can use the indexing, all these things. So both way you can assign directly the value. So you can print the strings completely in this way. So let's see, run this. Let's do some experiment with this. Okay. So yeah, this is the program. You can see we run this. So you can see we are getting the same, both hello world and hello world, both by you. So, but can we try something? So, so suppose we have the first array, and let's change the str1 So the first one. Okay, so I'm changing the first character. So let's this equal to z. Okay, and let's see it is acceptable or not with another value. Let's see, it is executable. Yeah, but it is not updated. str1 str1 0. It should be updated. Let's say some size and so one thing is actually this type of allocation. So when we are declaring this type of string allocation, so that actually allocated in a constant type of memory allocation. So if we have assigned this, we cannot change this. Okay, so you can see we are changing the value. Then this is not allowed in our code, that we cannot change the character. But yeah, the above one should be changed. It is updated, but oh, sorry,
Sir, here,
single character. One
in case
second.
of string 1 and 2, sir, 0 written means 0 characters, sir.
No. I have written. Yeah, this is the. Actually, I've written this with double quote, so that is allowed in Python but not C. So if we are assigning some character, so that you can see when I'm writing str1 0, that means we are updating the first index value. So this is in array, okay, and when we can update this, we can update the index, and you can see we are getting this z, but it is not allowed in this type of assignment. Okay, so this is actually creates a constant type of things. You cannot update this value later, update the character. Okay, so
So it should always be in single quote what we are updating.
yeah, so this character is always written with the single quote, that single character in the C.
Okay.
Okay, if you are assigning single character to some place, so that will always be written with single quote here. But a string can be written with this, like. Okay, so in this way, just remember this: if you are allocating this type of string, so it will not be changed. But array, actually, you can simply change like this, your normal array, integer array, or other array. Okay, so this is some restriction. So some common operation, input operation, so that is also actually requires you can do the practice with this. Otherwise, you can do the same things. If you know the array process, you can traverse each character one by one, like as a integer elements. You know the indexing, same indexing we are getting for the. And one more thing, let's check the size. Okay, so let's print the size also for this string. %d, and then size of str1. Okay, so let's check this. Okay, I'm getting both same too. You can see here size is also different. Okay, so by 15. So the allocation way is also different. So 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so in the normal, in the above array, you can see the size of this str1 is 14. not 13. Here we have 13 character. Okay, so total 13 character we have, including this empty space. But our size we are getting 14 because one is the terminate character is also added into this array. But this type of allocation is by the different way. So because of that, we are getting some different size. So this is a constant thing. This is constant allocation. So this is not an array. Okay, so array you can see we are getting the different size.
Sir, why here 8 came, sir, for string 2, sir?
No, actually this is the different allocation. This is not an array. Here, this is a constant memory allocation. This also the memory area is different for this allocation. This is not an working as an array. So how this is actually storing, this is something different things. Maybe it is something else. 8.
Sir, why the string 2 changes, sir? Sometime in the above it is 14 and after 8, sir.
No, this is second for the second way. This is one. Size is not changing. I have printed the size of both str1 and str2. Okay. Yeah, sorry, got that point. Why we are getting this 8? Okay, this is for actually a pointer size. Okay, this when we are writing this size of str2. So this is printing the pointer size, and pointer size is actually 8 byte by default. Okay, doesn't matter what you are storing here. So that is representing pointer size. But str1 is actually representing an array. So we are getting the size of an array, not the pointer size. Okay. So let's do one more thing. So let's use the asterisk. This is one. This is referring to the first element. Okay. Okay. First character size. Okay. So how we can do the check the size of this? Okay. So, yeah, this is the one thing I'm giving one other example. Like, so suppose if I variable like int asterisk ptr, okay, and this is nothing. Okay, ptr. If I write this ptr, you will get the same 8, because by default the size of integer is 8. Okay, so when I'm writing this str2, so that is actually, this str2 is a pointer actually. Because of that, we are getting the size of pointer, not the data inside this. Here, this is a array. Okay, this is an array. So because of that, we are getting the array size. What are the elements stored in the array? So this size of is not working for this pointer. So how to read the data size for this value? Okay. So I think there is some another way to check the size or length. So let me check that. So this is the first thing. You can initialize the array. Otherwise, string input operation, how you can read. So we have already seen that to read is input, you can use this scanf, and format specifier will be that %s here. Okay, and you can read that and you can store that So like this program. So here you can see we have initialized some string str100, and we will read some input strings from the that user. So let's run this. Okay, so you can see we are getting enter expression. So I'm writing hello. Okay, so what we are getting, you entered hello. So you can see here we are reading the data in the string. So we pass that str array name, and what string we are providing here, so that will be stored into this str. And let's do one more thing. So we will print this time hello world. Still you can see we are getting hello only in the string. Okay, so what happening this time, when we are reading the input and when the compiler find out the first empty place, so that compiler just consider this as a terminate point. Okay, so only this hello will be stored into this string. The remaining part will be ignored. Okay, so this word will not be considered, not be read, and not be stored. So for this str.
Sir, could you please once again explain, sir, why world not printed, sir?
So what happened actually for this type of reading, when we are using this scanf to read the string actually, okay, not character. So we have created one string of the size 100. So size we can define any maximum things, and after that we are reading some string from the input. And if our input contains the space, so that actually considered as a terminate character. Okay, so if you are getting like hello world, so compiler will read this strings HELLO, after that space. So compiler will stop the reading process at this point, and only at this point data will be stored in our array. So remaining part will be ignored in this process. So this world will not be coming and will not be stored in our array. So if you want to store, if you want to read a single continuous string, okay, without any space, so you can directly use this scanf function, and that you can store your strings with a single word, like, okay, without any space. But there are another way where you can store this type of situation, hello world, where the space is also coming. So that is actually, this is the first way. Okay, so using scanf, so this is the problem actually for this. You can see it stops reading at the first white space character and count. Okay, now another way to read this input is this fgetS. This is another function for standard reading. So this actually reads the complete line. Once the next new line character is found, it will stop actually. Okay, so it reads until it encountered a new line character or the specified maximum number of characters. So if you have mentioned any specific size, here we have to pass the size also. What is the maximum size you want to read? Okay, so it's safer than scanf. It allows specifying a maximum number of character to read. So this is the code for this. You can see. So the problem which we faced last, what happened? So let's.
Sir, what's the meaning of the third option, sir, in case of scanf, sir?
A third option means?
It's safer than.
Okay, yeah. So it's safer than scanf as it allows specifying the maximum number, okay, of characters. Safer means you have already seen in the previous example, we missed this word. Okay, so this word is not saved actually in our data structure. So this is the problem of this scanf. Using this fgetS, you can read the complete. Okay, so same this main function, you can see now we have assigned the same size string. Now enter string. Now we are using this fgetS to read the input, and here we assign some size. So what maximum size we want to read? So you can see size of str. So size of str means string array, so 100. So maximum 100 length array we want to read. Okay, we can read smaller length, but this is the maximum range we are telling to the compiler that if any line contains this 100 character or more than 100, so it will read only 100. Okay, so this is the maximum limit to read the input we are telling. Okay, and this is a standard input. We are using standard input, and the data will be stored into this location str. So if we use this, then you can see we can store only hello. Okay, now you're getting correct. If we give the space, so hello world, then that is also stored. You can see hello world we are getting. Okay, so there is no space problem coming here. So let's take this example. Let's see what is behavior for this 10, and let's pass the bigger value. So hello, this is C programming course. Okay, let's see what we are getting. You can see now we pass the size of str, which is only 10. Okay, now we pass the input which is length more than 10 size. Okay, so our compiler is only reading till 10 characters. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and 1 is terminate point, that null point. Okay, so that only that part is coming in our storage. So this size we have to define here. What is the maximum size we want to read? Okay, that is depends on our maximum storage if it is 100, it will working fine. Okay, so that means, so let's run this again and just paste this. You can see we are getting the complete one. Okay, so this scanf problem now we can cover by this fget. So this is one function which is important for the string actually. Okay, now string output operation. So print, you can print the complete string with the help of printf function and use the specifier this percentile s. Okay, and you can print the complete string. So you have already seen in the previous example we are using this printf and percentile s str. Okay, so we can print the complete string with the help of this. And another thing, you can also use this put s. So put s function is used to print a string followed by a new line character. It's simpler to use than printf for printing string. So here actually you need to just directly pass the strings. No need to mention the specifier, all these things. You can directly pass the string variable, that array, and just you can print the complete string with the help of this. Okay, without mentioning specifier. So this is the another way to print the strings in the output. Okay, you can directly use put s str. That complete string will be printed by this. Okay, and some common string function are there. So string function in C programming, this strlen. So there is one function strlen. You can use this. So let's check this with the previous function actually, which we have seen. Okay, so let's print this len. Percentile ld. Percentile ld. strlen, that so that str one. So the difference between size of an strlen, what is this? So that we are trying to here strlen. Okay, so we need to use the string library for this. Has
So it will be string ng.
okay, so let's print this. You can see there's the string 30. Yeah, this time we are getting the length actually. So last time we are getting the size of, so when we are getting 14, but this is actually prints only the characters without including the terminate character. So that strlen, this function you can use to figure out that what is the actual length of the list without including the terminate character. Okay, so that is the one, this function, this is important. If any string is given, you can figure out the length actually, how many characters are there. So this is one important function you can note down.
Sir,
Hmm?
instead of using ifgets, can I use scanf with while or for loop to implement the same features as ifgets?
Yeah, you can do this type of thing. So yeah, you can read character by character. So while you're
Yes.
getting the character, just read this. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, that is also one way to read the input. Just using the while loop, read all the characters. Okay, so yeah, the strn, then strcpy, you can compare the strings if strings are match or not. So here you can just, this is a function to compare the strings. You cannot directly compare the strings by the equal sign. So using this string, you can just pass the two array like this src and destination. You can compare it and then check. So it returns some data that 0 to something. So let's for first characteristic type each copy of string. No, this is for copying, not comparison. Sorry. Yeah, this is for copy. Copy the strings actually. Here you can see you have the one strings src where that contain hello. Another variable you have dest. Now you want to copy this source to destination. So you can just write like this to copy the data from source to destination. Then you will get the copy. And that concatenate two strings. You want to combine two strings, you can do this with this function. So strcat. Okay, so suppose you have two strings and you want to combine these strings into the first string, str1, and then you can perform this. So str comparison. So this is one another function. You can compare the strings. Okay, so if strings are matched, this function will return 0. Otherwise, it will not return 0 if not matched. It will return any another value. So you can, if you can match two strings or characters with the help of this function, or that single character you can match by default, so that by the equal sign, but strings you can match with this. Okay, so that this is also one important to perform some operation in some problems. Okay, so strchr. So find the first occurrence of the character in a strings. So this is one operation. So these are some basic operations that function I have written here. So you can just see this document, and there are more another functions also, but that are not too commonly used. So but you can explore this, and you can just practice with every type of function. Okay, so at least some important function, so like this length, then comparison, then copy, like this function, and you can just do the practice for the every function. So why we are using that function and what type of value it is returns, what is the purpose. So just practice with some common function you can directly use in your problem. So these things you can, so there is no new things here, so you can explore this with the solving the problems. Okay, so this is about the string. So after just practicing on that, just try to solve the problems. Another, I think nothing too new. Okay, so this is all about the Beak 7. Now Beak 8 is the next data structure we have. I'm not going in the Beak 8. Now we have no time. So the topic is just watch all the videos. So we will discuss all these things in the next Friday or this next sessions. Okay, so this struct, actually this is also one very good data user defined data type, that struct, that union, enum. We will discuss these things. So what why this is useful. Okay, so now the time is to
Sir, is the date for quiz 2 already fixed?
Yeah, quiz 2 date is fixed, but there is no quiz 2 exam for C course. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, for C there is no quiz 2 exam. Only OPP2 exam will come out for C.
Sir, so for OPP2, till which week will the syllabus
Till
be?
week 10, till week 10 file.
Okay, sir. And even, sir, for the end term also, the C programming, the theoretical questions will only be asked, or the programming will be asked?
Yeah, end term syllabus will remain till week 11. So we have total week 11 content. So complete syllabus will be covered, and questions will be based on some programming script also. Some theoretical questions will also be there, as well as your similar to your assignment questions. Some code
sir.
will be given, some what will be the output, like this.
So code writing won't be there, right, sir, in the end
No,
term?
no. The end term exam is theory exam, like quiz 1.
Okay, sir. So there would be questions regarding this programming, but just we need to just get output like in the options.
Yeah, option, MSQ, or numerical input, like this. No writing the code.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so yeah, I'll check this qualified things. I don't know why they missed this, but it will release today itself. Okay. Okay, any other query? So we will release timed assignment at 8. It will close today at 12.
Sir, 12 or 10?
No, today we are planning to close at 12, because I think some students have this Linux lab at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, so today is the last, and we will close at 12. Okay, then any query, or shall we close?
Sir,
Yes, Hemant.
Sir, Linux class actually it was done on yesterday. Okay, there is no Linux class today, sir.
Oh, there is no Linux class.
No, today is not Linux class. It has done yesterday. That's why I was unable to attend
Okay,
WTF.
okay. So then today you can do, na?
Yes, today I can do, sir.
Then no need actually. Okay, okay.
Okay, as you wish,
I'll
sir.
close at then 10. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then bye everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.